Hello and welcome back. Today we are going to talk about Randall Carlson, Ancient Aliens, and what Randall Carlson actually says. And it's important to start with a clarification. Randall Carlson is not a classic Ancient Aliens advocate. He rarely speaks about extraterrestrials, and when he does, it's indirect and speculative, not as an explanation but as an open question. His work is often placed within the ancient aliens circles because he challenged the established historical narratives about humanity's past. But Carlson's work primarily revolves around three main themes: sacred geometry and megalithic knowledge, the Younger Dryas and global catastrophes, and lost knowledge. Carlson argues that many ancient monuments were constructed according to advanced geometric principles. They reflect precise knowledge of the Earth, measurements, circles, and propositions, and they share mathematical structures across continents, from the Giza Plateau to Stonehenge to Angkor Wat. His point is not how this knowledge is originated, but that the level of knowledge is difficult to explain using purely primitive models. His second major focus is the Younger Dryas and global catastrophes. Carlson is one of the most prominent proponents of the Younger Dryas impact hypothesis, which proposed that one or more cosmic events around 12,800 years ago triggered a massive flooding, abrupt climate shift, and widespread ice melt, possibly destroying an advanced prehistoric cultures. This fits into the ancient alien narrative, but without aliens. The third theme Carlson's discussed is lost knowledge, not lost technology, but lost knowledge, advanced understanding of nature, geometry, and circles. Society is capable of organizing massive projects without modern machinery. When asked where such knowledge came from, Carlson's typical answer is, "We don't know." And he stops there. He does not leap into dramatic conclusions. Yes, Carlton has appeared on TV shows like Ancient Aliens and shared stage with well known figures from that sphere. He has acknowledged that non human intelligence is a legitimate question, but he does not claim aliens built the pyramids. He presents no evidence of extraterrestrial intervention. For him, ancient aliens is one hypothesis among several, and not the explanation. His role is often to point out gaps in the explanation, not to provide a final cause. Critics argue that Carlton is selective in his example, that he built connections mainstream archaeology does not accept, and that he operates in the gray zone between science and speculation. Yet, even critics often acknowledge that his geometric observations are real, his questions are legitimate, and his work pressures archaeologists to explain more. So, why is Carlson important in this context? Because he does not sell finished answers. He insists on long term circles. He combines geology, mythology, and archaeology. He exposes blind spots without shouting aliens. In other words, he acts like a bridge between serious research, alternative history, and the fundamental questions at the core of the ancient aliens. Is humanity's past more complex than we have been told? Carlson does not argue for ancient aliens, he argues that our current historical models may be incomplete. Carlson's position on the Younger Dryas differs both from the mainstream archaeology and from the extreme ancient aliens interpretations. His view is best described as catastrophic but Earth based. He does not argue for aliens, he argues that Earth itself, interacting with cosmic forces, may have been more violent and unstable than our textbook suggests. The Younger Dryas began around 12,800 years ago and ended about 11,600 years ago. Temperatures dropped abruptly, ecosystem collapsed, large animals went extinct. That is not disputed. The dispute is about the cause. Carlson support that the Younger Dryas impact hypothesis suggests one or more cosmic events whenever a meteor impact or airburst triggered a rapid ice melt, massive flooding, and global climate disruptions. Here's points to the scraplands in North America, to sudden sea level rises and widespread carbon and soot layers, including nanodiamonds and platinum anomalies. Sea levels were around 460 feet lower at the peak of the last ice age. We know that they rose. Carlson argued that the key issue is the speed and the intensity. The Missoula floods are central examples. These floods are accepted science. Carlson questions the scale, the speed, and the global consequence. He suggests pre-Younger Dryas societies may have been more organized and knowledgeable than assumed. He does not say it's industrial, but advanced in planning, astronomy, and geometry. These societies may have been nearly wiped out, leaving only fragments of knowledge. He uses methodology cautiously, not as a proof, but as a cultural memory. Flood myths and stories of fire from the sky are not evidence, but they raise questions. Critics argue impact evidence is debated, and alternative explanations such as the AMOC disruption, the Atlantic meridional overturning circulation are possible. Carlson's response are typical. Then explain the scale, the speed, and the synchronicity of these events. He does not demand acceptance of the Younger Dryas impact hypothesis. He demands alternative explanation that match the observations. Today, the Younger Dryas impact hypothesis remains as an active but controversial hypothesis alongside ocean circulation models, not replacing them. Carlson does not explain Earth passes through an asteroid belt like clockwork. He argues instead that large catastrophic may correlate with long-term astronomical circles. The solar systems move through the galaxy, oscillating through the galaxy plane. These movements may alter comic flux from the Oort cloud, increasing impact probability. He speaks about increased probability, not deterministic timing. There is no scientific consensus on precise cycles, but variability in impact rates is accepted as a physical plausible. Carlson combines geology, archaeology, mythology, and astronomy to present hypotheses, not proofs. So, the question is, why is Carlson misrepresented? Because reality is that he is often portrayed more extreme than he is. Complex ideas does not fit media format. Carlson speaks in long chains of probability, of nuances and open questions. Media prefers labels. Does he believe in aliens? Is he predicting a catastrophe? If the answer is this is complicated, that often gets simplified. Then there's also guilt by association. Appearing in shows like Ancient Aliens leads some to assume that he shares all the conclusions. That is a logical fallacy. Circles are misrepresented as deterministic. Mythology is misrepresented as evidence. Carlson challenged the explanatory frameworks, not the data itself, and that is more threatening than rejecting the evidence outright. So, if we discuss the meta segment, why complex ideas polarize? Simple ideas are accepted or rejected. Complex ideas are polarized. Human cognition prefers categories over systems. We prefer simplicity because complexity is mentally expensive. Complex idea is also challenging the identity. When a theory challenges an established framework, it challenges professionals and institutional identity. Media rewards clarity, not correctness. Algorithms reward strong positions, not nuances. So the middle ground becomes invisible. Complex ideas are polarized not because they are extreme, but because they refuse to be simple. They require patience, intellectual humility, and the ability to say, I don't know yet. That is harder than picking a side. Randall Carlson is not a prophet, a doomsayer, or an ancient alien advocate. He is a system thinker who insists that catastrophes, circles, and lost knowledges may play a larger role in human history than we are comfortable admitting. This is not extreme, it's inconvenient. Thank you for listening.